Trump rages at Supreme Court over ruling that blocks Alien Enemies Act deportations as bad and dangerous day. 7-2 decision by the Supreme Court finds government violated due process for Venezuelans during rushed attempt to deport them. Well, shit, I can stop right there and have a party. Okay, I can stop right there and have a party. They're not fucking American citizens, therefore they do not deserve due process. They're not Americans. The goddamn Constitution of the United States does not represent every person on the planet. The Constitution of the United States only applies to American citizens. These are not American citizens. They are criminals, number one. They are from another country, number two. And number three, they crossed our border illegally, making them criminals. Criminals do not have rights. The only rights a criminal has is right to an attorney and a right to a phone call. That's it. That's all they fucking get. But these are not Americans. And because they're not Americans, they don't deserve due process. They don't need due process. They don't get due process. And for the Supreme Court, our biggest court in this land, to side with a bunch of fuckers that aren't even Americans, and not only are they not American, but they're dangerous criminals that will kill your ass, is the stupidest fucking shit that I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And it is absolute 100% proof that Von Helton was right, because Von Helton got on this camera and told you motherfuckers that there ain't nobody on that goddamn Supreme Court that is a true conservative. Not one. Now you have Justice Thomas, bless his heart, he's a libertarian, so he kind of comes close. And you have Alito, he kind of comes close. And the rest of them are all fucking liberals. Well, guess what this 7-2 decision was? Oh, yeah, it was Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito that dissented, proving 100% that Von Helton was right. And ain't nobody on the goddamn planet can spin this. And y'all should have been listening to my happy ass instead of listening to the Quartering, listening to Tim Pool, listening to Stex Hexenhammer, listening to all these other motherfuckers. You should have been listening to my happy ass, because I've now proven to you 100% that I was right from day goddamn one. From day goddamn one. There's no getting around it. There's no way you can spin this shit. No way. I told you motherfuckers in advance, you don't have any goddamn representation in this country, and you haven't had in a long ass time. And hopefully now it fucking sinks into that goddamn brain of yours that you don't have no representation, and you should have been listening your ass to me instead of giving Tim Pool your money, instead of giving Quartering your money, instead of giving all these other motherfuckers your money that are just walking that razor's edge where they don't lose their subscribers. Instead of telling you the raw truth, like I do. But this is the nuclear bomb of I was rights, because there's no way you can spin this now. I've been absolutely 100% right on this. I told you there is no conservatives, and that Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito were libertarians. And this right here, this 7-2 decision right here absolutely proves it 150%. And there's no way you can spin this. There's no way you can get around. Notice all my haters are suddenly fucking quiet. You notice that? Yeah, there's a reason for that shit. Because this right here absolutely destroys any narrative that these trolls and haters would ever come up with me. Because I've now been proven absolutely right. You have no representation in Washington, D.C. And bless the gods, Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito, I wish them well, but they're not conservative either. They're libertarians, which is kind of close, but not quite. Anyway, the point is that this decision here, this 7-2 decision, and the fact that our Supreme Court, that's supposed to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States, has decided, no, we're going to side with criminals that kill people. And then we're going to say, oh, well, Biden can let billions of people in here without any due process. But in order to get them out of here, we got to have due process. No, it don't fucking work that way. They're not here legally. They're not Americans. These are not fucking Americans, and therefore they do not get due process. The Constitution of the United States does not apply to every person on the planet. It applies to Americans. These fuckers are not Americans. They are here illegally. They are criminals. They crossed our borders illegally and therefore should be immediately deported back to where they come from. That's the law. This bullshit decision here is not law. This bullshit decision here is on a par with Roe v. Wade, which was made up law that the Supreme Court made up. This right here, I mean, I'm not even into the goddamn meat of the story here, and I'm already mad as a wet hen, and Trump is too, believe it or not. And Trump's furious because Trump knows the law the same as I do. You can't have a bunch of fucking illegals walking around this country killing people and then say they deserve due process. The fuck they do. They don't deserve no fucking due process. They're not Americans. Get them the fuck out of this country. What the hell's the matter with these people? Because these people are liberals. They're not conservatives. When Justice Roberts claimed he was a conservative and that he was pro-life, he lied. When Amy Coney Barrett claimed that she was a conservative and that she was pro-life, she lied. When Justice Kavanaugh claimed that he was a conservative and that he was pro-life, he lied too. Now you say, well, Vaughn, how do you know this? Because of a very famous Politico article that I keep bringing up where Justice Roberts and Justice Kavanaugh sided with Planned Parenthood against the Constitution and the Founding Fathers. What does the Constitution say about abortion, folks? It says that all Americans, born or unborn, rich or poor, have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Can you have those three things if you're dead? No, you can't. So obviously the founders did address the abortion issue back 250 years ago. They said, no, every American, born or unborn, has a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can't have those three things if you're aborted. Ergo, abortion is unconstitutional on its fucking face. But everybody else thinks they know better than the Founding Fathers, apparently. Well, no, they don't. Because the Founding Fathers created this nation and they know what the fuck they were talking about. Abortion is unconstitutional. It has always been unconstitutional because all Americans, born or unborn, rich or poor, people with purple polka dots, they all have fucking rights. And one of those rights, one fundamental right, is the right to life. So the Founding Fathers addressed the abortion issue 250 years ago and said it was evil, it was criminal, that all life should be sacred. Gee, I wonder where they got that from. Oh yeah, they got it from us pagans. Wow, what a shock. That's why they added nature and nature's God in there. Did you notice they added that in there? Yeah, that was them do that. So here we are. We haven't even got into the meat of this story, and already I'm pissed. And already it proves that Von Helm was 100% correct. You have no representation in Washington, D.C. because Washington, D.C. is not fucking American either. It's unconstitutional too. Washington, D.C. is an unconstitutional entity. Excuse me. Unconstitutional entity. It's not real. Washington, D.C. is not real. It was created by the Act of 1871. And then they slap Washington's name on it like he wanted that shit. He didn't want that shit. Where y'all getting that from? That's ridiculous. But this is nuts. This here is a nuclear bomb. You notice all my haters are suddenly quiet. Yeah, because they know I was right on this. There's no denying it. Folks, I was screaming about this all along. I told you, nobody represents you. Nobody represents you. And this absolutely fucking proves it, 150%. This 7-2 decision proves me 150% right because the two dissenters were Justice Thomas and Justice Alito. So I've been proven 100% right. 7-2 decision finds the government violated due process for Venezuelans. Venezuelans, not Americans, Venezuelans. During Russia's attempt to deport them. No, the Venezuelans don't get due process because Venezuelans are not Americans. They're not fucking Americans. They don't get due process. They don't get due process. Only Americans get due process. The Supreme Court, how do I can't get rid, close. There it is, finally. Fuck. The Supreme Court will continue blocking Donald Trump's administration from summarily deporting alleged Venezuelan gang members from the United States after the government rushed to try to remove immigrants from the country without adequate due process last month. Under these circumstances, notice roughly 24 hours before removal, devoid of information about how to exercise due process rights to contest that removal, surely does not pass muster, the justices wrote Friday. The 7-2 decision, with conservative justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas dissenting. Hello, let me read that again. The 7-2 decision, with conservative justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas dissenting. Oh, wait, that was Von Helton that told you that shit. That Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito are the only two that are semi-conservative. They're libertarian. The rest are all liberals. Argues that the immigrants detained in Texas under the president's use of Wartime Alien Enemies Act must have sufficient time and information to reasonably able to get in touch with lawyers and file legal challenges. No, they don't. They're not Americans. The Constitution only applies to Americans. These are Venezuelans. Hello, these are Venezuelans. Let me read it again. The Supreme Court will continue blocking Donald Trump's administration from summarily deporting alleged Venezuelan gang members. Okay, Venezuela has its own constitution and its own laws. Venezuelans apply to those laws. They do not apply to American laws. American laws are for Americans, not Venezuelans. These are Venezuelans. Further, they're Venezuelan criminals, and so therefore need to be tried in their country's justice system, not here. They are to be deported. Under the ruling, the administration is barred from deporting immigrants jailed in Texas under the Alien Enemies Act for now, and an appeals court will consider whether immigrants can even be deported under Trump's invocation of centuries-old law. Reacted to the news, Trump wrote on Truth Social, the Supreme Court won't allow us to get criminals out of our country. Correct, because the Supreme Court is not a bunch of conservatives like you thought it was, or like anybody thought it was. In another post, he claimed the ruling means the worst murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and even those who are mentally insane who came into our country illegally are not allowed to be forced out without going through a long, protracted, and expensive legal process, one that will take possibly many years for each person, and one that will allow these people to commit many crimes before they even see the inside of a courthouse. Trump is 100% correct on that. These people are going to be free to kill Americans until somebody gets around to actually trying them, because they'll be released on their own recognizance, because, oh my God, we can't keep them jailed. Well, that's just evil, and it violates their rights, you know. I mean, that's what they'll say. That's what they'll fucking say. They'll say it violates their rights and shit. They don't got no rights. They're not Americans. American law applies to Americans, not Venezuelans. Not what's that country where we just sent a bunch of them? El Salvador. Okay. American law does not apply to Salvadorans. American law does not apply to Venezuelans. American law doesn't apply to French people or Germans or East Africans. It doesn't apply to any of those people because they're not American. How hard is this for somebody to grasp? Is this really that hard to grasp? That American law applies to Americans only? It does not apply to the whole fucking planet?